Alright, what's going on, guys? Your boy King Red Diamonds, and I'm back for another Nioh 2 video. In today's video, I'll be continuing with the weapon series and pretty much going over the skills that I use, skills that I recommend, skills that are useful, skills that I don't find so useful. So we're continuing on, and today we are going to go over my favorite weapon, the dual swords. Um, Now, in my opinion, dual swords is the best weapon in the game, and like I said, in my opinion, the reason why is because they are the easiest weapons to use. Um, these are the most beginner-friendly weapon, in my opinion. The reason why is because they don't have as many skills as other weapon classes do. The dual swords pretty much are the most basic, in my opinion. They're like literally the most basic weapon in the game. You can learn them quicker than any other weapon. You can combo them easier than any other weapon, and they do a ridiculous amount of damage. Um, dual swords is pretty much the main weapon I used to get me through all of the depths and all that and everything. Like I used the dual sword build, so I highly recommend using the dual swords, giving them a try, seeing how you like them. I give them a 15 out of 10 easily. Now, the dual swords are not um, they're not as powerful offensively as other weapons are, but they can be in the right hands. They can be the most powerful weapon. Each weapon in the game is pretty balanced in terms of its strength and stuff, so you don't have to worry about one weapon being stronger than the other. Every single weapon is pretty balanced. They just are. They just have different skills and different uses. So depending on how good you are with that weapon, go with that weapon. My weapon of choice is dual swords. But they are not like offensively the best, but they do excel in defense. The reason why is because since there are two swords now, that's double the that's pretty much double the defense. Then rather than using the single sword, which isn't particularly the best at defense. It's more so better when you're evading. But the dual swords allow you to block more often and have a stronger guard than the single sword does. Um, Other than that, the range isn't the best since there's two swords. One sword is shorter than the other, so the range isn't the best. But you're just as fast and just as elusive as you are with the single sword, so that's not really a problem. But yeah, dual swords, I recommend it highly. So let's get into the skills I would recommend. So we're gonna travel down to here. So the first skill I recommend is going to be the same as when I went over the single sword. You start off with these four skills right here. First skill is Windstorm, Sign of the Cross, Mind's Eye, and Demon Thrust. Of course, like again, pretty much every weapon that has a parry is going to be on this side. This is more so of a utility move. This right here is an attack. This is also an attack. So first skill we'll go with Sign of the Cross. Sign of the Cross is going to be again your mainstay, just like with the single sword. EI quick draws are the main move mechanic you're going to use for the single sword. Dual sword, Sign of the Cross is going to be your go-to. Sign of the Cross is very powerful. You can even excuse me. You can even make a build around Sign of the Cross. You can put Sign of the Cross damage on every piece of gear you have and just throw out massive damage Sign of the Crosses, like literally. So my first skill I recommend going for Sign of the Cross. Now, second skill I'll recommend Windstorm. The reason why is because Windstorm is very, very good against um, yokai and humans. Um, this move right here, it travels and it creates like once you upgrade it higher, it'll create like a small tornado type effect around you. It can break the horns on yokai. It can break the guard on humans. Um, it's really good at doing key damage. So um, I would definitely recommend trying this move out for sure if you go with the dual swords. Very, very good move. Next, I'm going to go with Mind's Eye. Mind's Eye gives you a pretty much forgiving dodge. As you can see, say you dodge in the right, like say you dodge at like the last second away from an enemy, Mind's Eye will activate and you'll do this little spin back, and it'll pretty much reset you and set the person up for leave the person kind of open for an attack or for you to just set up your next combo. So mine's eye very good. I still use it a lot, so definitely give that a try. Demon Thrust, you can go with this. If you, like I said, if you like countering, Demon Thrust is actually pretty good because it does give you a counter punch, that extra little stab. So you block and then press square, and you can give them a little quick stab. That is really good. I do like that. I don't use it a lot. The reason why is because it doesn't do a lot of damage. It's more so just like a quick jab back at the enemy to either get them off guard or create a little bit of distance between yourself. But if you do, like I said, if you do in the previous video, if you do like parries and counters and stuff, Demon Thrust is not a bad one to have. Now, more so, I just opened these two up to get to the bottom skills and stuff, which is usually what you're going to do. More than likely, for most of the weapons in the game, you're going to just open these two up just to have access to the other skills around it. But yeah. So Sign of the Cross first, Windstorm next, Mind's Eye, and then Demon Thrust. Now, from here, we're going to try to upgrade our Sign of the Cross as much as possible. So we come here to Sign of the Cross 2, which pretty much slows down the charge time for it. So if you look at the first one, charge time is a little long. Second one, charge time is a bit faster. So it's much faster and more powerful. So as soon as you possibly can, get Sign of the Cross 2. Now you might see these extra skills right here branching off. These are hidden skills that you have to earn from fighting bosses. Ultimate Sign of the Cross is a very good follow-up to Sign of the Cross. It's really cool, real flashy and stuff. More than likely, you'll probably do that because after Sign of the Cross, you're probably going to be pressing square to try to attack, especially if the enemy's like staggered or had their guard broken or something like that, and you're automatically going to do Ultimate Sign of the Cross. You get this from fighting Tokichiro. Like the first time you fight him, if you farm that, this skill should drop. So definitely go for that. Very, very good skill. This skill down here is just Dragon Claw. It's pretty much the same as Dragon Claw for the sword. It steals the anima from the enemy when you grapple them. You get this from Yoshitatsu, I think. Yeah, you get this from Yoshitatsu. So if you farm him, he'll probably drop this. There are 3 of these, I think. I think Dragon Claw is on the sword, the dual swords, and the Odachi. So you get all 3 of those from the same person. But after you get your Sign of the Cross 2, then I will go up to Windstorm or Cherry Blossom. Windstorm or Cherry Blossom 2, you can't really go wrong with both of these. So I can actually just grab both of them right now. Can't go wrong with both of these. Windstorm 2, as you can see, remember I told you it creates like a little tornado effect. It pretty much makes it more powerful, and like I said before, it's really good for key damage. So if you want to go Windstorm, I'll recommend doing so. Now, me personally, I go with Cherry Blossom. The reason why is because, as you can see, Cherry Blossom has that forward jump and slash, and that pretty much tracks your enemy. So say you're fighting a human enemy and you throw that out, and they dodge in between you doing it, you'll travel to where they are, slash at them, and get a nice hit in. And it does a decent amount of damage. It's also very good for breaking the horns on yokai. So again, Windstorm or Cherry Blossom, either one will be fine. I personally use Cherry Blossom just because I like when it like tracks the enemy and keeps me on top of them. Next up is Spinning Dragon. So Spinning Dragon is really good. It's a nice move. If you're a fan of Ninja Gaiden series like I am, you'll recognize this move a lot because it's in the game. So I personally didn't like this move when it first came out. I thought it was cool because obviously I recognized it from Ninja Gaiden, but it didn't have very good tracking. So like when you did the little spin upward, and then when you were in the air, you were pretty much like unguarded and unprotected, where the enemy could slide out of the way, and then you would come down with the little slash, and you wouldn't hit them, leaving you open to attack. I think they did fix the tracking on it. I'm not sure. I haven't used it since, pretty much. Like I haven't been the biggest fan of it. I may start trying it again just to see if it works out. But in my opinion, Cherry Blossom is better. But if you want to go with Spinning Dragon because you like how it looks and you can work it into your fighting style, by all means go with it. It's a very good move. Good for, good for breaking the horns on yokai. Good for doing overhead damage. For like, say if someone's blocking, you'll pretty much drain their guard. So Not a bad move to have at all. But if we're going to go with our second move, I would probably pick Mind's Eye 2. When you pick Mind's Eye 2, once you do your dodge, you get an attack boost. So you saw that little yellow flash around him. That's the character getting an attack boost if you pull off a Mind's Eye. It's very good. It activates a lot, especially if you're in low stance, which you should be when you're dodging. It works a lot. You'll get this. You'll pull this off without even trying most of the time, just because the game will recognize your dodge and it'll be a little forgiving on the timing and stuff. So Mind's Eye 2, definitely work your way to it. Next, we're going to go with Dual Dragon. Now, Dual Dragon is very good. Again, breaks the horns on yokai, but it also positions you behind your enemy, as you can see. So once you get positioned behind your enemy, that leaves them open to attack. And if you don't know, damage from behind does additional damage to the enemy. So if you happen to get behind your enemy like this, you can follow up with, say, a sign of the cross, or you can even follow up with like a windstorm or a cherry blossom, something like that. Like it's a nice follow up skill. It's a nice skill to set an enemy up for a follow up attack from behind. Next, where is it? Where is it? God of Wind. Now, God of Wind is going to be well, I'll actually just go all the way up to the third one. Boom. All right, so God of Wind. God of Wind is going to be your main, well, I wouldn't say yours. It's my main combo setup. So usually when I'm fighting with the dual swords, I'll attack in mid stance, throw out a God of Wind 3, which pretty much, so the first one is this one, just a regular kick. Second one is a kick and then a follow up, and the third one is a kick and then another follow up. But the third one is much more powerful than this one. The third one, those extra slashes, those will destroy, and when I say destroy, I mean destroy the ki on an enemy. This move is my go-to for destroying the ki and breaking guards, all of that. I use this move to set up combos. I'll attack, throw out a God of Wind, follow up immediately with an with a sign of the cross, reset, boom, I'm coming down now with a cherry blossom, and I can go right back into the God of Wind. It's like literally an endless loop. This is what I mean by like the dual swords don't have many skills. As you can see, most of the skills are already gotten now. Like everything else is just icing on the cake. But God of Wind for sure is going to be one of your main moves to go for. You don't have to technically go in order of what I said. I'm just giving you the skills that are very good. If anything, the order you would go in is to unlock all 4 of these first, and then immediately go to God of Wind. And after that, then you'll probably get your cherry blossom, and then if you have it unlocked at the time, sign across too. So God of Wind definitely a very useful skill. I recommend it whenever using the dual swords. The next we're going to go with is we're going to go up here to Moonshadow. Now Moonshadow is very good. Moonshadow allows you to get, it's pretty much used to break the guard on enemies. It's on human enemies. That's what its basic skill. It breaks the guard on human enemies. As you can see, when you attack, if the enemy is guarding, you can immediately press triangle afterwards, and you'll slide behind them. And as you saw what he just did right there, he broke the enemy's guard. This move is very good for human enemies. I definitely recommend getting this as soon as you can. Once you get God of Wind 3, you have access to it. So boom, get Moonshadow, and you cannot go wrong with that move at all. Next, I will go with where is it? Is it Winter Wind? No. Yes, it is. It's Winter Wind. So next, Winter Wind. Winter Wind, it pretty much allows you to close the distance between you and an enemy while ki pulsing, which is very good because obviously key pulsing is your lifeblood in this game. You need to key pulse in order to survive. If you do not key pulse, you will not survive. So it's a very good move. Allows you to move while key pulsing, closing the distance with you and the enemy, and it also is like a sweep attack. So like when you do it, if the enemy's close enough, you'll pretty much bump them and kind of throw them off, opening them up for some combos and finishing blows and all that stuff. So Winter Wind is very good to pick up. Definitely try this skill out. Now, most of the other skills left are not the best. People might think, oh, what about Water Sword? Water Sword is very good. I'll actually turn that. I'll put that on just because. But Water Sword is not good against human enemies at all. As you can see, it's very flashy. It's very fast. It does a lot of damage, but only to yokai. This is not a move that you're going to want to use against a human enemy. The reason why is because with this move, you're pretty much essentially a blender. You're standing in one spot. You're not moving. You're just slicing all around you. So you're a blender pretty much. The only enemies in the game that will pretty much stay in your attack cycle are yokai. Human enemies won't stay in it because more than likely when their ki is drained, you can use it and the force of your slices will pretty much push them out of your range. So at that point, when you're in the middle of doing it, you have to immediately let go. At that time, you're probably not going to recover and they can attack you. But with yokai, since yokai, whenever they have their ki completely drained and they have zero ki, you can throw out Water Sword and melt them. I've used Water Sword to melt Gozukis and Mezukis. I've done Yoki. Like I've literally like drained their ki, got them down in a down stance basically, and did Water Sword and completely drained their entire health bar. Like it's honestly a pretty meme type attack active skill. Like it literally is just hit hard. Like that doesn't have anything other than that really. But I would not recommend using this on human enemies. It's not going to do the same amount of damage it would do to yokai. It is a good skill, but it's situational, and I would use it at your own risk. But next, you can go with, if you want to, like if you're a big counter person, my thing would be to probably go with not this one, but this one, Strike. Because look at that. That looks like just the impact of the moves itself just looks so damaging. And it's very cool. And it does a lot of damage if you pull it off. But like again, if you're big on counters, by all means, this is the best counter I would go for. Definitely no questions. Like that, this counter is by far the best one. These no. Just look at that. This does nothing. No. This one is fine. I just feel like this one is better in my opinion. But it's okay. But this is better in my opinion. This one, no. Don't get it. There's no point in having it. Random slice, not much utility there. It literally just lets you run forward while slicing. It's like Tiger Sprint almost, but I haven't really found places in which I would like use this. Really, it doesn't do that much damage, and unless you're like putting charge active or something like that on your stuff, I think the only thing that gets it is like a Mezuki or a Gozuki or something like that. It boosts your charge or something. I don't know, but this I don't really recommend. If you like it, sure, use it, but I don't recommend it. Piercing wheel. This one is okay. This is okay, but it's like, as you can see, it doesn't have the same effect as like Strike or Heavenly Flow. So I don't think I recommend this one either. If you come over here, Raijin. This one is okay. I used it in my combos when I was using the Grace of Susano, just to build up my active skill stacks. It didn't really have much utility other than that, just because you have to use 9 different active skills to build up the max stat Susano. So I don't really recommend it. If you want to use it, if you think it looks cool, if you think you want to put it into your arsenal, by all means do so. I just wouldn't recommend using it. I don't use it, so that is completely up to you. Next we have Mortal Flow. Mortal Flow is, as you can see, not a great move. Mortal Flow 2 just adds a gust of wind, just like Windstorm, but Windstorm is better in my opinion. As you can see with Mortal Flow, it barely even knocks the enemy back really. So I don't know if I recommend it, but if, like I said, you want to use it for utility's sake, such as like building up your stacks of Susano and stuff like that, by all means go for it, but I wouldn't recommend using it. I think that is actually all of the skills. See, like I said, the sword skill, the dual sword doesn't have as many skills as the single sword does. So that's why I said it's really easy to use. But next I'm gonna go to the mystic arts. Now, the dual sword has two mystic arts, and both of them are very, very good. Unlike with the dual sword, with the single sword, you technically don't need both mystic arts with the single sword. You really don't. But with the dual sword, you want to have Mystic Dyad on your weapons to take advantage of both Mystic Arts. Dual swords, Mystic Arts of Momentum and Firm Resolve. Momentum reduces your reduces your key usage for every attack that you land. Basically, if you keep on attacking and keep on hitting your enemy, you'll use less key for the attacks, meaning that you'll be able to throw out combos. You'll be able to throw out combos for longer, basically. Usually, whenever you're comboing with weapons, you'll run out of key quickly, and you'll have to key pulse in between. With momentum, you can literally just keep on attacking your enemy, and not worry about using up all of your key. So momentum is very, very good. It's very, especially with the dual swords. It's very good for combos. It's very good just for utility sake in general for key use, for key consumption. So I would definitely recommend it. And the next, Firm Resolve. Firm Resolve reduces the damage you take if you are landing attacks. So now with me explaining both of them, you can see why you would want both. So basically with both of them, if you have both active, as long as you're hitting your enemy, you'll use less key and you'll take less damage. Simple as that. Use less key, take less damage. I think that sounds pretty damn good in my opinion. So if you can get Mystic Dyad on the dual swords, both of these will help you tremendously. Tremendously. These mystic arts are perfect for this weapon. This is why I love the dual swords. In my opinion, it's the perfect weapon. It covers all of its own bases, literally. So, yeah, Firm Resolve and Momentum definitely go to for those mystic arts. Next, we have the hidden skills. So here I have Punish the Proud. It's okay. More than likely, you won't really be using this as much, just because sometimes the enemy will sit back and not attack. It doesn't work on yokai. It only works on humans. And like I said, most of the time, human enemies are a bit smarter. They'll probably sit back and wait for an opening to attack you, and then you'll just be stuck sitting in the little position where you cross your swords. And if they never hit your guard, then the skill won't activate. But if you do like this skill, you get it from fighting Imagawa. So if you farm Imagawa, he'll drop this skill, and then you'll be able to use it. Next, we have Double-Headed Slice. Now, Double-Headed Slice is possibly the best hidden skill, even more so better than Ultimate Sign of the Cross. Double-Headed Slice is very good for inflicting an enemy with any element. So with a lot of the active skills, you can customize them and add on, say, like Arcana of Fire or Arcana of Lightning, Arcana of Water, something like that. And any Arcana that gives a status debuff. Double-Headed Slice, in most cases, if you do this move twice to an enemy, they'll be inflicted with whatever element is connected to that move. Like usually whenever I use this move, I usually either use Arcana of Water or Arcana of Lightning, and I do this twice, and the enemy will literally be afflicted with my with whatever status debuff I have on there. Very, very good. You get this skill from farming Tokichiro as well. So you get double-headed slice and ultimate sound across from farming Tokichiro. So I would recommend definitely getting this move as soon as possible. Farm him up. Try your best to get this move. Increase your luck. Increase your drop rate. All that stuff. Make sure you get double-headed slice. Very, very good. Highly recommend it. And then I've already explained Dragon Claw. So that right there is pretty much all of the skills of the dual swords. Obviously, you have the passive skills, so clearly you're going to want to get your Shadow Strike. You're going to want to get your Relentless. You want to get your Armor Piercer. And you want to get your passes to the Afterlife. And then you can get your defensive arts as well. But yeah. Everything else is again like for either low health or high health. So you won't really need those in my opinion unless you're trying to run a crit build, which I don't recommend. But if that's what you like to do, by all means do that. But yeah, that is pretty much all of the dual sword skills. So if you guys, want to use the dual swords, these are all the skills I recommend. You can, take a picture, pause the video, screenshot it if you watch on your phone or something. These are all the skills that I use. Okay. So I'll go into the dojo, show you guys a couple ways I use the swords and stuff, how I use the skills, how I set up the skills, and which slots I put them in. So let's do it. So come over here. And since I don't have Mystic Dyad, I'll just go with Momentum for now. Alright, Dragon Claw is there. So I put Dragon Claw there just because it only activates versus humans. So if I leave it on whenever I fight a human, it'll activate. It's no point in just putting on Grapple. Dragon Claw definitely goes to. Again, Momentum for now, since I don't have Mystic Dyad, I'm using some basic swords, so I don't have Mystic Dyad on it. So Momentum is the go-to. When I have Mystic Dyad, both of them will be active, so I won't have to worry. In my high stance, Cherry Blossom, because that's what I like. I like Cherry Blossom the most. It's probably one of the best follow-up skills. Silent Cross, of course, no questions. Windstorm is in there right now, but yeah, Windstorm is there now. Water Sword is only going to be useful again against yokai. I'll show you how it goes against humans and yokai, just to show you like the difference between that and Windstorm itself. But Windstorm for now. Wind to Wind, of course, is my close the distance move, and it helps me keep us. God of Wind, as I said before, is very good for destroying the key on yokai. The move I would probably put on this is Masterful Slice for sure. Masterful Slice increases the key damage dealt by 20%. This move destroys the key on enemies, so Masterful Slice definitely for this. Sign Across again, because this is the only skill that goes in that slot anyway, and you wouldn't want to put any other move there regardless. I'll put Demon Thrust because Punisher Prowl usually only works against humans really, and it's not really the best. I'll throw Strike on. I like Strike. In my opinion, it just looks cooler. It does a lot of damage, and Heavenly Flow. I feel like the timing, even though the timing is the same, it just feels as though Strike's timing is a little better. So I'm going with Strike. Moonshadow. Moonshadow, definitely have this on. Definitely get this skill. It helps with breaking the guard on human enemies a lot. You'll be able to do this a lot. So definitely have Moonshadow on. Of course, Winter Wind is there because it's the only one that goes there. Dual Dragon for sure. With Dual Dragon, I usually put on like an Arcana or something like that, because you can definitely inflict the enemy with some type of debuff with that move. So one of the Arcanas would be good on it. No need to explain that. It's only one in the same slot. Obviously that goes there as well. Double-headed slice. Again, I will put an Arcana on it. I usually use lightning or water because you will get your enemy saturated or inflicted with the electrified effect in one or two activations of this skill. So double-headed slice for sure. Um, it's not really anything that goes in this bottom slot, so you can use whatever you like here uh, between these two if you have them. And yeah, that's pretty much all of it. Just to show you that I can get, the stuff, I'll put that on, and then I don't need to put this on. I don't need to put this on. You already know it's going to do a lot more key damage, but this I'm putting on just to show you that I can inflict enemies with it in like one or two activations. But yeah, this is my setup for the dual swords. This is everything I use. So we're going to fight some enemies, and I'll show you guys, how it does. Look at that. Already inflicted with lightning. Already inflicted with the electrified effect. That was just one. That's why I'm telling you, double-headed slice is definitely the go-to. Boom. Dragon's Claw. Easy. Boom. Look. Every time, I'm telling you, God of Wind. God of Wind literally is like it's going to be your go-to move for comboing, because you just saw me break his guard, I threw out a sign of the cross, and he was open for any attack afterwards. Boom, Moon Shadow. Look at that. As soon as it destroyed his guard. This is what I mean when I say these weapons are possibly the best combo weapons in the game. My favorite weapons. They're so easy to use. Like the active skills are so easy to use. It's just, in my opinion, the most complete weapon. And as you can see in the top left corner, that symbol with the two green swords, that's my momentum mystic art activating. Since I'm constantly hitting the enemy, it activates, and it stays active for as long as you're hitting the enemy. Look at that. Windstorm knocked his key loose. Like, every single move, it works for my fighting style. It helps me, literally obliterate enemies. I can do this all day with him. All day. This can happen all day. And if you've watched my last video with the sword, with the single sword, you can definitely tell that the dual sword is my favorite weapon, because I'm so much more fluid with the actions of it. So much more fluid with the actions. Trying to do a counter just so I can get this in the video. There it is. Look at that. And Sign of the Cross actually works when the enemy's on the floor, because it swipes up and downward. So yeah. And I didn't do ultimate Sign of the Cross, but this is how it looks. I guess I can fight him again to show you. Actually, no, this is what I want to do. I want to fight the yokai first, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch to Water Sword to show you guys how that works against the human, and then how it works against the yokai as well. But yeah, we're going to fight the yokai. Boom. Broke his horn already, and he's inflicted with electrified That's the power of double-headed slice. And as you can see, I'm not really adding in any of my yokai abilities. If I was, he would never be able to recover. It would be just pandemonium, honestly. But if that's what you guys want to see, let me know in the comment section. And the next few times, I'll throw in my yokai abilities to show you how much more powerful your builds can become when you include them in your combat. Here's a quick taste. Watch. See how his keys always drain? I mean, it's also because I'm using purity weapons, but it's more so just literally the playstyle of the dual swords. And as you can see, it's so much easier fighting yokai than it is humans because yokai just stand there and let you attack. An ultimate sign across to finish them off. But yeah, that's the dual swords for you. Very good weapon. Active skills are just like they just complement each other so well. You can combo into them so much easier. It's just very, 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 very good. A very good weapon choice in my opinion. Definitely go with it. But now I'll switch to water sword just to show you the difference in the way it handles humans and the way it handles yokai. Look at this. I barely hit him, and I pushed him out of my field. He was on the ground, and I was barely hitting him, and I pushed him out of the field of it. The only reason he's stuck now is because there's a rock behind me. That's the only reason he's stuck. It's because there was a rock right there. Let me get him out in the open. Shit. That's on me. Pushed them backwards. And now he's out of my field. See? I pushed him out of my field. So water sword is, like I told you, it's a good skill. It'll work, but only if that enemy is standing completely still and not moving. human enemies, this move will not work on as much as it would a yokai. Let me try to hurry and kill this guy. Alright. Now yokai next. Look at this. I can shred him. Look at him. He's still just sitting there. He's still in there. Like, that's the difference between using water sword against a yokai and using it against a human. Yokai don't move. They don't move. I could do this all day. Water, this is what I mean right here. So that right there just proves to you water sword is so much more efficient against yokai, not humans. Because there were certain times where I was missing. I didn't miss a single hit when I'm facing a yokai. And they don't get out of the way. They literally just stand there and let me do it. I pretty much took away half his health now just from doing that move. Like I said, essentially you're a blender. Usually inside of blenders, nothing's moving. So that finishes him. But yeah, as you can see, again, water sword better against yokai than it is against humans. Useful, but in situations. But that's going to be the end of the video, guys. I appreciate you for stopping by again. Look forward to more of these videos. Glad to be back, and I hope you guys have a good one. Skin Ray Diamonds, and I'm out.